Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. Listen to Mike Shilt's post-game comments. Plus, we'll bring you today's play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
Into again, and that's in the air, deep to left field. McCarthy to watch, way back, gonna go! Oh, salami time for Fernando Tatis Jr. Capacity crowd at Petco Park on their feet, and the Padres lead it 5-2 here in the fourth.
Fernando sends one into the second deck, and the Padres go on to win it here tonight against the Diamondbacks. The final score, the Padres 7 and the Diamondbacks 4. Welcome into our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show here on the Padres Radio Network. K-Player, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort is now open with a Lux Hotel Tower, rooftop pool, spa, and a long list of amazing amenities. You'll have more ways to play and enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building as we begin our post-game coverage. Fernando Tatis Jr., no doubt about it, the big swing in this game, a grand slam into the left field seats in the fourth inning. Padres entered that fourth inning trailing 2-0, part of a 5-run fourth inning, and the Padres really did not look back here tonight for Fernando. His fourth career grand slam, his first grand slam, believe it or not, since 2021, and his 24th home run of the season. I caught up with Fernando on the field right after tonight's win.
Fernando, let's start with the grand slam. 3-2 count, bases loaded, 2 outs in the inning. You got a fastball. You were ready for it. How were you able to be on time for the heater?
Just trying to get a good bat out there. I'm facing a really good pitcher, so it's a good battle, man. He threw everything that he had, and last pitch he let me saw everything over the plate, and it was way gone.
First grand slam you've hit in a little while. How good did it feel to get that one out and round the bases?
It felt amazing. It felt really good. So try to do it again pretty soon.
Let's talk about the guy hitting behind you tonight, Luis Arraez. 4 more hits. He continues to swing the bat extremely well. What stands out to you about the way Luis is playing right now?
I mean, that's what he's capable of doing. That's why he has won 3 batting titles in a row. It's not coincidence. So it's really fun to see him going his way.
70th sellout in this building in 2025 on a Friday night in late September. What would your message be to these fans who continue to pack this place?
I mean, just grateful the way they have been. I mean, they've been outstanding, and I'm just grateful I'm playing in front of them, and looking forward to do a couple more years.
Finally, last time you're going to wear this uniform, this beautiful, colorful uniform. You're going to miss these things? You look good enough.
Yeah, definitely going to miss them, and definitely going to miss how good we play on them. So, we better keep it going.
Fernando, great job tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That was Fernando Tatis Jr. right after tonight's 7-4 win against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Padres had a big night offensively, 7 runs on 12 hits. They went 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position, but did plenty offensively in this game to win it. Yu Darvish, 5 solid innings. Bullpen, pretty good for the most part. A little bit of shakiness in the 8th inning. We will get to all of it during our game recap. But again, Fernando Tatis Jr., his first grand slam since 2021. A huge swing in that 4th inning, and really the defining moment and swing of this ball game here today. Couple of notes as far as the wild card picture out of this result. Number one, the Diamondbacks have been eliminated from postseason contention. So it is now down to the Reds and the Mets in the National League wild card race for that final spot. The Reds won today, the Mets lost. So the Reds right now have command, because they own the tiebreaker between the two teams. They have command of the final wild card spot right now, and hypothetically the Reds could wrap it up tomorrow if they were to win and the Mets were to lose. But the Reds are in command right now of that final wild card spot. The Diamondbacks have been eliminated from postseason contention. As far as the Padres, they remain alive as far as their ability to potentially host the wild card series against the Cubs. It's pretty simple what has to happen now. The next couple of days, the only way the Padres can host that series on Tuesday, instead of going to Wrigley Field in Chicago, the Padres have to win tomorrow and Sunday, and the Cubs would have to lose tomorrow and Sunday. Pretty simple. Think about it this way. The Cubs' magic number, quote unquote, to take that first wild card spot and host the series is 1. So Padres can't lose a game. Cubs would have to lose both their remaining games against the Cardinals tomorrow and Sunday. So that is where things stand here at the end of tonight. But the Padres take care of their business as they win this game 7-4. We'll step aside when we come back. Our full game recap, all the radio highlights. We'll hear from Mike Shildt coming up a little bit later as well. Padres win it on this Friday evening, the final game where the Padres will wear their original, very bright and colorful City Connect uniforms, and Fernando Tatis Jr. had quite the moment in them tonight. We'll come back with more post-game coverage after this.
Hey there, sports fans. It's Tony Gwynn Jr. Get your outdoor space.
Our post-game coverage continues live here from Petco Park on this Friday evening as the Padres beat the Diamondbacks 7-4 to win the first game of this 3-game series. Sam Levitt with you inside the Western Metal Building as we continue to wrap this one up. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. But first, let's recap this one from start to finish.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Right-hander Yu Darvish took the mound for the Padres in the top of the first inning. The second batter of the game was the Diamondbacks' Ketel Marte.
Swings to the first pitch, hits it high and deep to right field, forget it. Marte way out over the old wall in right field, is 27th of the year. And Yu Darvish gives up a one-out homer here in the top of the first inning. Diamondbacks lead it 1-0.
The score stayed 1-0 until the third. That's when Jake McCarthy hit another solo home run against Darvish. It was a 2-0 Arizona lead. Meanwhile, Zach Gallen was very sharp early for the D-backs. 3 scoreless innings to begin his night, but then the Padres got a rally going in the fourth inning against Gallen. Xander Bogaerts hit a 1-out single. Gavin Sheets singled. There were runners on first and second for Ryan O'Hearn.
Ground ball here to the right side. That's through and a base hit. Bogart's going to be waved at third. Carroll comes up throwing to third, and not in time to get Sheets as Xander crosses the plate. Another hit for O'Hearn, and the Padres are on the board. It's 2-1.
Padres weren't done. Freddie Fermin walked with 2 outs to load the bases. That brought up Fernando Tatis Jr. The count went to 3-2.
3-2 again, and that's in the air. Deep to left field. McCarthy to watch. Way back. Gonna go! Oh, salami time for Fernando Tatis Jr. Capacity crowd at Petco Park on their feet, and the Padres lead it 5-2 here in the fourth.
Fernando's 4th career grand slam, his first since 2021. The Padres putting together a 5-run bottom half of the 4th inning against Zach Gallen. Padres then loaded the bases against Gallen in the 5th. Lefty Philip Abner came in for Arizona. He issued a 2-out walk to Jake Cronenworth with the bases loaded. That gave the Padres a 6-2 lead. Yu Darvish went 5 innings, allowed 2 runs. Bradley Rodriguez pitched the scoreless 6th. Wandy Peralta did the same in the 7th. Padres still led 6-2. Going to the 8th inning, they went to Kyle Hart to start the inning. He walked 2 in a row with 1 out and 2 still on. David Morgan came in. He got the 2nd out, but then he walked a batter to load the bases. Morgan then walked another to bring in a run to make it 6-3. Morgan then walked another, bringing in another run. It was all of a sudden 6-4, and the Diamondbacks still had the bases loaded and 2 outs. Mike Shildt went to right-hander Mason Miller. Miller struck out Jorge Barosa to end the inning, kept the Padres up 6-4. Bottom half of the 8th inning, Ryan Thompson on the mound for Arizona. He got the first 2 outs of the inning, but then Luis Arraez singled. That was his 4th hit of the night. Manny Machado singled. That got Arraez to second. It set things up for Jackson Merrill.
Pitch on the way. Merrill swings, rips it into right field. That's a base hit. Arraez at third. Going to be waved home by Tim Leeper. Here comes the throw from Carroll. Not in time. RBI single Jackson Merrill. And the Padres add on. It's 7-4.
Little insurance courtesy of Mr. Merrill. We went to the 9th inning. Mason Miller stayed on for the save opportunity. Geraldo Perdomo walked to start the inning, but then Miller struck out Ketel Marte. He struck out Corbin Carroll. The game was left up to Arizona's Gabriel Moreno.
1-2 to Moreno. Miller will deliver. And a pop-up right side of the infield. Arraez back just onto the outfield grass. He will squeeze it, and the ball game over. Mason Miller comes out of the bullpen to pick up a 4-out save. And with a 7-4 win here tonight, the Padres have officially eliminated the Arizona Diamondbacks from playoff contention, and they keep hopes alive for hosting a wild card series here in 2025.
Summed up very nicely there by Jesse. Exactly what it is tonight. Padres win it 7-4. Padres still have a chance to host that wild card series. They have to win the next 2 games, and then they would need the Cubs to lose the next 2, but anything is possible. And the Diamondbacks officially out of postseason contention. Their season will end on Sunday, and that is that here tonight. By the way, the Padres also winning their 88th game. They improved to 88-72, so a 90-win season still at play if the Padres can win the next couple of days. Final totals here tonight for Arizona: 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. For the Padres, 7 runs, 12 hits, and no errors. A lot of walks in this game for both teams. The Padres drew 5. The Diamondbacks drew 8. Winning pitcher tonight, Yu Darvish, who was good over 5 innings. He improves to 5-5. Zach Gallen took the loss. He's 13-15. Mason Miller, the save, is 22nd of the year between the A's and the Padres. And oh, by the way, the 70th sellout of the season in this building. Amazing. On a Friday night in September, 44,000 plus in the building here tonight, and they went absolutely wild on the Fernando Tatis Jr. Grand Slam. Rightfully so. What a moment for Fernando. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Final score tonight: Padres 7, Diamondbacks 4 on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the
Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Final score tonight, Padres 7 and the Diamondbacks 4 as the Padres keep their hopes alive to host that wild card series beginning on Tuesday here at Petco Park. I think we all understand the Padres got to take care of their business. They got to win the next two. Cubs would have to lose the next two against the Cardinals, but hey, it's not that crazy of a thought that could happen. Certainly if those two results happen tomorrow, it would make it very, very interesting on Sunday at the very least. So we'll see what happens with all of that, but the Padres take care of their business tonight. A very solid 7-4 win for Fernando Tatis Jr. The big swing in tonight's game, the grand slam in the fourth inning is part of a 5-run bottom half of the fourth. Yu Darvish went 5 innings in this game, 2 earned runs given up on 6 hits. The 2 runs came on a couple of solo home runs. Bullpen tonight was a little up and down. Bradley Rodriguez, Wandy Peralta, good. They were the up in the 6th and the 7th scoreless innings. Kyle Hart walks a couple of batters with a lead, a 4-run lead in the 8th inning, which you don't really want to do, obviously. David Morgan came in, and he just lost command for a while there. Ends up walking 3 batters in a row, and 2 runs came in the process. And the Padres, I think, did something they didn't really want to do, and we'll hear from Mike Shildt in a second here. You know, the way they were treating tonight's game bullpen-wise, and I get it with the postseason looming on Tuesday. You know, it kind of seemed like they wanted to stay away from any of the big high leverage guys tonight, but they were kind of forced to go get Mason Miller because of the way things were going in the 8th inning. And Miller, to his credit, comes in, does a great job, strikes out a batter with the bases loaded, and the 8th inning, comes back out, picks up the save in the 9th inning a third scoreless tonight for Miller. So the bullpen, a little bit up and down tonight. Certainly a lot of good to take away. Luis Arraez had 4 hits in this game. Xander Bogaerts had a couple of hits. Gavin Sheets, who's really struggled as of late, had a couple of hits. But no doubt the best offensive part of this game was Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting the grand slam. It feels like it's been a while since Fernando had that kind of swing and moment in this building. It feels like it's been a little while. Now, Fernando's power numbers, certainly the last month, are surging, and they have been way better than they were for the couple months prior. But it just felt like he hadn't had really a moment like that, where he, in a huge spot, bases loaded, you're trailing, a spot where one swing can win you the game, essentially. I know it's the 4th inning, but it totally changed the trajectory of this game. You go from down 2-1 to leading 5-2. I mean, that's a huge swing, and he got it done. So good for Fernando. Hopefully a sign of things to come for him in the postseason. With all that in mind, let's go downstairs, hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Mike, Fernando's grand slam home run tonight. He had a home run in his previous game. I think 6 home runs now in the month. Whatever that power outage that he had earlier in the season, is there enough evidence there to say that's behind him?
I think so. I mean, welcome back, Toddy, right? Yeah. I mean, he's always had power, so I don't think there was a spell where he didn't do it, but I think we feel good about he's a dangerous guy regardless of power included.
Luis, another great night tonight with the 4 hits. I was going to ask you how the finger was, but I think he had 2 more hits after he slid into it, so I'm assuming that's okay. And how great is it to see him be this hot?
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, he swung the bat really well for a while. Actually, his whole life probably swung the bat well, but he's really put up and gotten some numbers here recently, 4-0 game, clearly in a good spot.
What'd you think about you tonight?
I thought he was good. I thought he was able to navigate a little bit of traffic, make pitches. Thought he settled in, got a little rhythm to the middle part of his outing, and was able to get a clean 5th to grab the win.
With the home runs that he's been giving up lately, and especially first inning, what's the level of concern, and how might that affect how you're looking at the postseason?
I mean, listen, it's Yu Darvish. I mean, guys are going to put some swings on at their top of the orders pretty good. I think they got a combined 850 OPS, all three of them, if you average it out. So I don't know what to say beyond that. I mean, got to put a swing on him.
What is Rodriguez doing to kind of make a push for the postseason roster at this point?
I just love the fact that he's not backing down from it. He's going right at it. And he's got, plus stuff, the changeup showing up, which I think is a really quality pitch for him. He's got a lot of life, throwing, 99. There's a lot to like. And, if he can go out there and pitch with his stuff and not make moments bigger than they are, we'll take our shot.
What were your thoughts on that play that Merrill made at third base starting out Perdomo?
Really, really, really nice play. Another nice play with Toddy. It's a big out at second base to start the fifth inning as well. But Jackson making sure he keeps the ball down, gets to get out to third base. We got a couple outs on the bases today. Freddie, a nice throw. So a lot of good things happened defensively.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt following this 7-4 win for the Padres against the Diamondbacks. Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue to wrap this one up. Let's chew on a couple of things that Mike had to talk about there. Number one, good point. Welcome back, Fernando Tatis Jr. Remember, he missed the first 3 games of this homestand dealing with an illness. I mean, he felt so unwell that, he wasn't in the clincher on Monday and didn't celebrate in the clubhouse, and then missed the 2 games after that. So good to see Fernando back and Fernando have that kind of swing in that kind of moment here tonight. That was certainly good to see. Interesting question there about you, Darvish. And look, you was okay today. The one concern for you continues to be he is having a real home run issue. You look at his last 12 starts going back to July 24th, he has given up 14 home runs in those 12 starts. He's given up at least a home run in 10 of the 12. It's 14 home runs given up in 58 2/3 innings. He is giving up a lot of home runs. Now, we're going to see what the Padres' plan is for that Game 2, Game 3 scenario. We know it's going to be Nick Pivetta Game 1 on Tuesday, whether that's here or in Chicago. The question right now for the Padres is how are they going to set up Game 2 and Game 3? Is it going to be you, Darvish, in Game 2? Is it going to be Michael King in Game 2? How does that affect Game 3? Does it mean the other guy is going and taking Game 3 if you're facing elimination? Or are you doing something different? Is there another kind of strategy? Is there a strategy with an opener? Is there a strategy to lean more on the bullpen, which is a strength? I would assume there are a lot of conversations being had right now and things on the table. Look, I trust you, Darvish, in a postseason sense. He was very good for the Padres in the post last year. The home runs are concerning. I think that's a fair thing to say. Obviously, you is not going very deep into these games, which is okay from a postseason standpoint. He only threw 79 pitches tonight. He's only gone over the 90 pitch mark once. Look, you is not going to, against the Cubs, go out there and give you 110 pitches. I mean, it's just not what the Padres have asked him to do, and that's fine in the postseason. That is more than fine in the postseason. But I think it is fair to have some concern about these home runs he's giving up. He's just given up a lot of homers, and that is a good offense. In the Cubs, it is. So, you get the wind blowing out the wrong way at Wrigley, blowing out. It's a little bit of a dangerous game, So it's going to be interesting to see how the Padres handle this. Again, you was solid tonight. I don't want to make it like he wasn't, but more home runs were an issue here tonight, and that continues to be a theme. Thought another good question there about Bradley Rodriguez. He has looked very good. He's looked very sharp. I know he's been a little erratic at times. He's only made a grand total of, 6 appearances, I think it is, in the major leagues. I'll double check that for you, but I think it's 6. It was certainly 5 on Monday night. Can't recall off the top of my head if he made another appearance in that Brewers series. Yeah, he did not. So it was his 6th appearance here tonight. He's been a little wild at times, but you actually look at it, he's only walked 2 batters. Maybe that's me just watching it and feeling like maybe he's had 3 ball counts, things like that. But the results have been good. I mean, he's had 6 appearances. He's pitched in 6 innings and a third. He's got a 1.42 ERA, and the stuff is great. I mean, the stuff goes without saying. So, I'll tell you what, that is going to be a very interesting decision for the Padres, if they want to include Bradley Rodriguez, who is only 21 and has very limited experience in the major leagues, if they want to add him to their roster, I'll be honest with you, I very much like the idea. I think his stuff is really good. To Mike's point, the moment does not seem too big for him. He seems like he belongs. The stuff plays. He's a guy that none of those Cubs have seen before. I think it's a very intriguing idea to carry Bradley Rodriguez on your postseason roster. I do. I think this is a guy. Look, I don't want to get too crazy because he's made 6 appearances in the major leagues, but this could be a guy that, may show up in a bigger spot than you would think if you need him to, and could do okay and can handle it. So a very interesting scenario there to think, that maybe he could be on your postseason roster at 21 years old. So look, good problem to have for the Padres to have a guy step up like Bradley and show up and be good and maybe force their hand to put him on the roster. We shall see how it all shakes out. When we come back, we'll get into our daily awards. If you want to get a phone call in, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call if you want to get involved. Again, the final score here tonight, Padres 7 and the Diamondbacks 4. Our postgame coverage continues after this.
Baseball season is in full swing.
Show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as the Padres win it here tonight by a final score of 7-4. The Padres keeping their hopes alive to potentially host a wild card series that would come either at Petco Park or at Wrigley Field in Chicago. We shall see. Padres got to win the next 2 days. Cubs would have to lose the next 2 days in order for that to happen. Hopefully it does, and we'll be here on Tuesday rather than in Chicago. So we'll see how it all shakes out. Padres, though, take care of their business here today, 7-4. Let's get into our daily awards. Phone number to call, 833-288-0973. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
3-2 to Barossa. Here's the pitch from Miller. Swung on and missed. Strike three. Again, came right at him with a fastball and took care of business to end the inning.
No doubt about it here tonight. Mason Miller is our relief pitcher of the game. Did a great job when things were getting a little shaky in that 8th inning. David Morgan walking 2 runs in a row, 3 walks total in a row as the Diamondbacks scored 2 runs to make it 6-4. Miller coming in, bases loaded, 2 men away facing Jorge Barossa, and he struck him out, then came back out for the 9th inning, completed the save opportunity. So Mason Miller, no doubt tonight, our relief pitcher of the game. Really, really good work by Mason. It kind of seemed like a night where maybe the Padres were trying to stay away from any of their high leverage guys, but look, you understood it once it got to where it was in the 8th inning and the game was hanging in the balance and David Morgan couldn't throw a strike. So they went to Mason Miller and Mason came through in a big way. 4-out save tonight for Mason Miller. Let's hear tonight's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
2-2 to McCarthy, 1 out, nobody on, and a curveball hit in the air deep to right field. Fernando back towards the corner, on the move. Will get there to make the catch. 2 down. Covered an awful lot of ground. Nicely done.
Yeah, really, really nice play there. That was tonight's catch of the game. Very nice play by Fernando in the 5th inning. Nicely done by Nando. Let's tell you about the Padres' heart of the order.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the heart of the order. Presented by Palomar Health, the official healthcare provider of 97.3 The Fan. Palomar Health, leading with heart for every patient. Palomar Health is reimagining healthcare.
Part of the order here tonight, Manny Machado, Jackson Merrill, Xander Bogaerts, the 3, 4, 5 spots in the lineup. Manny 1 for 4 with a run scored. Jackson Merrill 1 for 5. Xander Bogaerts 2 for 5 with a run scored. So a nice day for the heart of the order, 3, 4, 5 spots, 4 hits total between Manny, Merrill, and Bogaerts. The RBI single late in the 8th inning for Jackson. Did a nice job providing some insurance, making it a 7-4 game. Xander has looked good, I'll tell you what, since he's come back from the IL from that foot fracture. He has a trio of hits now in a handful of games. But I'll tell you what I've really liked about Xander. He looks good defensively. He's moving really well. You would not know, that he's coming back from the foot fracture. Seemingly no ill effects as far as his movement from that injury. So good to see Xander back out there, and certainly good to see the offense really do some good things. 7 runs on 12 hits. I mean, you look at it here tonight, the Padres had at least the base runner on, and every inning of this game, I mean, just nobody went quietly now. The Diamondbacks did the same thing. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of amazing here tonight. There was not a single 1-2-3 inning in this game. So a ton of base traffic, but the Padres able to have the big swing by Fernando, add some runs on after that, and on the insurance run late after the Diamondbacks made it a 2-run game. And that was that here tonight as the Padres win it 7-4. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll also replay my interview with Fernando from down on the field right after tonight's game. If you want to squeeze a phone call in, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call. I should also mention, just as I think about it, about Xander, he also had almost had a home run on Wednesday against the Brewers got taken away by Churio in center field. So he's looked good. It's a good development for the Padres. He's come back and looked good. All right, your phone calls, out-of-town scoreboard, and more when we return on the Padres Radio Network.
You're listening to the Jamul.
Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Hey, player, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort is a VIP gaming experience like no other with a luxe hotel, a relaxing spa, and rooftop pool. Come enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place, now open. Padres win it tonight 7-4 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. They will try to win tomorrow and win this series to end the regular season. The Cubs do play much earlier tomorrow, so we'll know by the time tomorrow's game begins whether the Padres still have an opportunity to host that wild card series at home. Again, I know I've said it a number of times, but for those of you just hopping in the car after the game, or if you don't know, you're just tuning in, whatever it might be, Padres, in order to host that series at home, they have to win the next two games, and the Cubs got to lose the next two games to the Cardinals. So it is pretty simple at this point. The Cubs play early tomorrow. I think their game is at, I want to say it's at 11:20 Pacific. Yeah, 11:20 Pacific. So we're going to very well know with that earlier game what the deal is there. If the Cubs win, then you can start making your plans for Chicago. But if they lose, then it continues to be very interesting where the Padres could bring that possibility of playing here at home into the final day of the regular season. Before we get to the out-of-town scoreboard play of the game, we'll hear from Fernando Tatis Jr. one more time. Let's quickly squeeze in a couple of phone calls here on this Friday evening. We appreciate you listening wherever you are on this Friday night here in San Diego. Let's begin things tonight. Let's go to Ryan in La Mesa. Hi, Ryan. You're on the Padres Radio Network with Sam Levitt. Go ahead.
Good evening, Sam. Couple quick things. Let's go Padres. Oh, doctor. Good job, Tats. Nice skipper. City Connect uniforms. Let the kids pick them. Also, the attendance. 70 sellouts in a season. Has that ever been happened here in San Diego? Not to my knowledge, but I appreciate all the support from the community here. And let's go Padres. Come on. Let's support it. I mean, it's a team effort. It takes everyone.
Yeah, Ryan, appreciate the phone call. Look, certainly the fans, and not just this year, but in many of the years prior now, going back a handful of years, yeah, I mean, the crowds have been tremendous. 70 sellouts here this season. It's amazing. I mean, look, I talk about it all the time. It is an incredible support. It's an amazing atmosphere, and the fans make this place rock, and they deserve so much credit for how they have supported this team and this organization by showing up the way they have the past few years. I mean, it's incredible. 70 sellouts. You know, it doesn't matter Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, April, May, June, July, August, September. It just doesn't matter. It's like this all year. So it's amazing. The fans deserve so much credit, so much love for what they've done and the environment they've created here. Every night, the players feed off it. They love it. It matters. It helps. And 70 sellouts as of tonight. So shout out to all the fans. You continue to do an absolutely amazing job. And it makes it a very fun place to be and a fun place to work for somebody like me. So just incredible job packing this place and making noise. And no fan base in the majors deserves a World Series title as much as this fan base for the way they support this team. Let's go to Austin in L.A. Hi, Austin. You're on the Padres Radio Network. Go ahead.
Hey, Sam. I just had a couple of questions. What is the possibility of Shildt probably going Vasquez for Game 2 after Pavetta? And then for the playoffs, what happened with Suarez last year? So what is the possibility of trusting Miller in that position?
Say that one more time, Austin, about Suarez. What'd you say there?
What happened with Suarez against Philadelphia? What is the possibility of even Shildt trusting Miller in that situation?
Yeah, Austin, appreciate the phone call. Let me get to both the Suarez Miller situation and Vasquez. Look, I think it's a fascinating situation with Randy Vasquez. How the Padres can factor him into their postseason plans. To me, I'd like him to be on this roster. I think you can trust Randy. I don't see a scenario where he makes a start in the postseason. I think unless the Padres do something out of the ordinary in one of these games, which could be possible, you go with an opener, you go with more of a bullpen game, who knows, right? They could go a little outside the box. And I think they have the bullpen to do it if they wanted. But I think assuming you were going to have a starting pitcher, a traditional starting pitcher start games 2 and 3, I think it's going to be some version of King and Darvish, maybe Cease. I mean, there's been some rumblings about maybe Cease. He's been good against the Cubs in his career. I look, I think there's a chance any of those three could start one of those 2 games. I wouldn't be shocked either way. I would lean towards it's going to be Darvish and King in some order, but could Cease make a start? I suppose. You know, look, you get deeper into the postseason, you are going to need Dylan Cease. I still think it's probably going to be King and Darvish in some combination. We'll see how it shakes out, but just to focus on Randy for a second, I'd like Randy to be on this postseason roster. I think he fits in really well as somebody, if there's a situation where you need some innings, you need a guy to come in and give you, maybe 3-4 innings, something like that. Yeah, I mean, I think Randy can have a real role here in a potential variety of ways. And then you deal with getting deeper in the postseason and what you might need starting wise. Maybe he plays a role in a starting capacity. We'll see. I think it's unlikely, but I think Randy's kind of earned a spot. And I think he's trustworthy enough where I'd like to see him on this roster and at least available out of the bullpen. I would. And I think he can serve a role as somebody who can be kind of a length guy out of that bullpen in a postseason game where it makes sense. Let's say you are trailing by a lot in a postseason game. Not wishing that on the Padres, but it happens. You may want a guy like Randy that you can kind of flip the ball to and save some bullpen arms if you're in a stretch where you don't have an off day. There is a role for somebody like Randy. I don't know that that's going to be in a starting capacity when you already have Darvish, King, Pivetta, and Cease, but I'd like to see him on this roster. I would. I think he's trustworthy. As far as the Miller-Suarez situation, look, here's the bottom line. There are going to be scenarios, where maybe Miller in a postseason sense has an opportunity to save a game. I'm not all that caught up in it. Robert Suarez is this team's closer. I do not believe that's going to change in the postseason. I don't think what happened in Philadelphia with Bryce Harper really plays any kind of role in the conversation here in 2025. But I think it's going to be what it's been this season, where Miller's going to get the earlier innings and Robert's going to get the save opportunities. The Padres view Robert Suarez as their really, really good closer, who for the most part, and I feel like people are really hard on Robert for a guy that is, for the most part, been really reliable and really good. He does a good job. And I feel like people get on him a lot. And he really is a solid closer. Does a really good job. And one way or another, those two guys are going to have to play a major role in your pen. So obviously Mason Miller is going to be a big arm in your pen. And you are going to have spots, 7th inning, 8th inning. You may have a spot earlier in a game where you feel like it's hanging in the balance. You go to Mason Miller in that spot, I'm probably not going to have a problem with it, because you're right. He is the guy that probably, bar none, inspires the most confidence out of that bullpen. But I don't think, come next week, all of a sudden they're going to switch Suarez into a setup role. It's not happening. So I think role-wise, they're going to kind of be where they've been since the trade. But, yeah, Miller is going to play an extremely important role, because to me, he is kind of, in a way, your fireman too. Look, I thought tonight was kind of a good example of it, right? Like, you're up 4 runs. All of a sudden, you got a guy that can't throw a strike. You've walked in 2 runs. You got the tying runs in scoring position. You're going to go to Mason Miller when you feel like the game is absolutely on the line. And that's what it felt like tonight in the 8th inning. So it was a little bit of good practice for that. But, yeah, I don't think the roles are going to change. I don't. All right, let's get to a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard tonight. Everything is gone final. Let's begin in Chicago. Cubs beat the Cardinals 12-1. White Sox beat the Nationals 10-9 in D.C. Phillies beat the Twins 3-1 in Philadelphia. Yankees beat the Orioles 8-4 in New York. Blue Jays beat the Rays 4-2 in Toronto. Red Sox beat the Tigers 4-3 at Fenway Park. They clinched a postseason spot. Marlins beat the Mets 6-2 in Miami. Rangers beat the Guardians 7-3 in Cleveland. Pirates beat the Braves 9-3 in Atlanta. Reds beat the Brewers 3-1 in Milwaukee. Angels beat the Astros 4-3 in Anaheim. Dodgers beat the Mariners in Seattle 3-2. A's beat the Royals 4-3 in Sacramento. Giants beat the Rockies 6-3 in San Francisco. All right, so with all those results tonight, let's take a look at where things stand in some of these various races. We'll do a kind of a wide look here. Blue Jays and the Yankees both won, so they are both 92 and 68. They are still tied atop the American League East. Both those teams have at minimum clinched a wild card spot. Tigers and the Guardians are now both 86 and 74. Again, the Red Sox beat the Tigers. The Guardians won tonight, Guardians lost tonight. So both those teams losing. The Guardians do have the tiebreaker there. So AL East and AL Central. Blue Jays, by the way, have the tiebreaker in the AL East. Both those divisions are still tied. Cleveland and Detroit in the Central, Toronto and New York in the East. As far as in the National League, you want to go to the wild card picture here because that's the only thing really in the balance. like we've said, Padres, they need to win the next 2 games. Cubs have to lose the next 2 games for the Padres to take the number 1 wild card spot and host that wild card series. If that does not happen, exactly like that, Padres are heading to Chicago. That's the scenario right now. As far as the wild card, Arizona eliminated with their loss tonight. The Reds and the Mets are both 82 and 78. The Reds have the tiebreaker with their win. The Reds have the tiebreaker. The Reds winning tonight, the Mets losing. So they are now tied for the final spot. But again, Reds have the tiebreaker, so they are in command right now. Hypothetically, if the Reds won tomorrow and the Mets lost, Reds are in. We shall see what happens there. Is there anything else I want to tell you about? AL wild card, just to give you the update there. Red Sox clinched their wild card spot today. The only thing that is still in question, Tigers have the final spot right now. They're a game ahead of the Astros, so that is still yet to be decided. And, of course, the AL Central and AL East also still up for grabs with ties in those 2 divisions right now. And that is a very, I think, comprehensive look at the out-of-town scoreboard and postseason picture. Padres win it 7-4 against Arizona on this Friday night here at Petco Park. Let's hear our play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin.
I'll give you an idea.
Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Into again, and that's in the air, deep to left field. McCarthy to watch, way back, gonna go! Oh, salami time for Fernando Tatis Jr. Capacity crowd at Petco Park on their feet, and the Padres lead it 5-2 here in the 4th.
Tatis Jr., his 24th home run of the season, his 4th career Grand Slam, believe it or not, his first Grand Slammy since 2021. Big moment for Fernando, part of that 5-run bottom half of the 4th inning. We'll hear from Fernando in just a moment, but first, we owe you a legal ID. So let's quickly pause for station identification on the Padres Radio Network.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Hey, this is Ryan O'Hearn. The Padres play here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And Odyssey Sports Station.
Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Padres win it 7-4 against the Diamondbacks. Fernando Tatis Jr., the grand slam in the 4th inning. I caught up with Nando on the field right after tonight's win.
Fernando, let's start with the grand slam. 3-2 count, bases loaded, 2 outs in the inning. You got a fastball. You were ready for it. How were you able to be on time for the heater?
Just trying to get a good bat out there. I'm facing a really good pitcher, so it's a good battle, man. He threw everything that he had, and last pitch he let me saw everything over the plate, and it was way gone.
First grand slam you've hit in a little while. How good did it feel to get that one out and round the bases?
It felt amazing. It felt really good. So try to do it again pretty soon.
Let's talk about the guy hitting behind you tonight, Luis Arraez. 4 more hits. He continues to swing the bat extremely well. What stands out to you about the way Luis is playing right now?
I mean, that's what he's capable of doing. That's why he has won 3 batting titles in a row. It's not coincidence, so it's really fun to see him going his way.
70th sellout in this building in 2025 on a Friday night in late September. What would your message be to these fans who continue to pack this place?
I mean, just grateful the way they have been. I mean, they've been outstanding, and I'm just grateful I'm playing in front of them, and looking forward to do a couple more years.
Finally, last time you're going to wear this uniform, this beautiful, colorful uniform. You're going to miss these things. You look good in them.
Yeah, definitely going to miss them, and definitely going to miss how good we play on them. So, we better keep it going.
Fernando, great job tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That was Fernando Tatis Jr. Yes, the final night, the final Friday night of these current City Connect uniforms, the very colorful and bright and vibrant pink and mint with some yellow in there as well. Hey, it's been a lot of fun to see them. The gear is everywhere around San Diego. They have been a huge hit, a huge success, and to look forward to seeing the new City Connect uniforms in 2026. But the final night the Padres will ever wear them was here tonight, and they got a win. Fernando hit a grand slam, and for tonight, all is well in Padre land. Taking a look ahead to tomorrow. First pitch tomorrow, a little bit earlier at 5:40 p.m. Our pregame coverage will begin at 4:40. Right-hander Michael King on the mound for the Padres. Left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound for Arizona. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast, available on the free Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game coverage there as well. Final totals here tonight for the Padres: 7 runs, 12 hits, no errors. They left on 10. For the D-backs, 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. They left on 9. Winning pitcher tonight, Yu Darvish, who improves to 5-5. Losing pitcher was Zach Gallen, who drops to 13-15. The save goes to Mason Miller, his 22nd of the season. And that's between, obviously, the A's and the Padres. I do want to tell you, I believe that is his second save as a Padre. You know what? Let me look it up here before we sign off because it's bugging me. I should have told you this already. Yeah, I was right. His second save with the Padres. So his second save with the Padres is 22nd overall between the Padres and the A's this season. Time of game tonight, 3 hours, 14 minutes in the crowd tonight. The 70th sellout of 2025. Just incredible. Thank you to the great fans who continue to pack this place. An incredible year as far as attendance. 70th sellout of the season. 44,547 in the building here in downtown San Diego tonight. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 5:40. Pregame coverage begins at 4:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Bobby Sharton, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from downtown San Diego. Again, the final score here tonight, the San Diego Padres 7 and the Arizona Diamondbacks 4. We'll talk to you tomorrow from Petco Park right here on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.